I'm waiting for the clicker. We'll get that started soon. But my name is Louise Welch. I lead Enterprise Learning and Development and Tech College at Capital One. I joined about a year ago, so still relatively new. I came from Google, where I spent the past 14 years in a variety of HR and people operations roles. And we've had just a tremendous time at Capital One, really doing a lot of new, innovative, transformational work. And I'm excited to share it with you today. So we will get into it as soon as I get my clicker. Let's see if this will work, but maybe not. There we go. It works. Great. Perfect. Okay, so it's funny. I have some team members here. Typically, before every team meeting, we start off with a meditation minute to get focused and get present. I'm not going to ask you guys to do a meditation minute, but I am going to ask everyone just to pause and have some self-reflection for a moment. So think about your future self. Think about kind of what are the roles or careers you all aspire to achieve and to become. And then think about what are the skills you personally need in order to realize those new roles or careers. And then think for a second, how much time do you dedicate to your own learning? So, unfortunately, there's a problem. So there's been external research that we all have probably read about that says the average employee spends 24 minutes a week learning. Busy is the new normal. We're all distracted. We're all overwhelmed. We don't make time for learning as part of our kind of daily habits and routines. And just like the external industry told us, we found this to be true at Capital One. So we did a whole host of empathy interviews with associates and asked really what was working, what was not with our L&D approach. And we got some really great feedback. That showed us we needed a lot of work. And they said, it's limited, it's old school, it's antiquated. But every single person said, I don't have the time to learn. I need to be an expert tomorrow, right? There's no time in the day. I focus on strategy, work results, product. And so my manager and leaders don't support and enable me to learn and grow. So there's a problem kind of that we're all facing probably, and we tried to really tackle this. And why did we tackle this? Well, we became really focused on the need for transformation and disruption right around the time Capital One embarked upon our technology transformation journey. So a few years ago, we went all in on the tech transformation journey, and that was driving our entire kind of business strategy and our learning. And so every single thing with technology needed new learning. So we needed to be able to be a successful company that is a kind of a leading information-based technology company that's innovative, with diverse perspectives and thoughts. We needed to bring in and upskill a lot of great kind of new talent and existing talent on new skills and technology and digital enhancements. So not only did we have this huge kind of mission that we need to start upskilling our entire workforce on the technology languages, or kind of just the strategy, cloud, data transformation, machine learning, the list goes on. But we also needed to also start attracting new talent. And as we heard from one of the talks earlier, millennials really kind of go to a place in order to learn and grow. And one of the top reasons why people leave companies is because they're not learning and growing kind of fast enough. So we really want to be able to attract talent that have these great skills to help us on this technology transformation, but they stay. They stay at Capital One, and they're engaged and they're retained because they're constantly learning and having multiple careers at Capital One. And we all know probably that tech jobs are increasing by 20% by 2020. Kind of the half-life of a tech skill is about 2.5 years, so that's dramatically falling. So there's so much need in the industry overall, but especially also at Capital One, that we need to really take this head on and kind of drive this transformation. So that really started kind of our big journey. And we came about this and said, what's our new vision for L&D? What are we going to do to drive all of this energy and kind of the business forward? And we said, we're going to really start transforming learning by delivering the innovative developmental experiences that not only drive the careers, but the lives of all our associates and align to business goals. So we really took like a two-pronged approach here. We said, we want everyone to bring their whole self to work And we're going to help them with their Python skills, their machine learning skills, and their leadership and all their competency. But we also want them to kind of, be able to explore and learn and grow in their other personal hobbies and passions. Just like you can teach a Python course, you can teach a yoga course. So our vision is really holistic, careers and lives, about how do you help people with their job, now, tomorrow, 5 years, but bringing their whole passions and hobbies to life. And obviously aligning to business goals and our imperatives, which are really at the forefront of the tech transformation. So how will we bring this vision to life? So we've started to really kind of take a very different approach to how L&D had been done at Capital One. We started to think we're going to completely shift the model on its head, and we're going to actually go bottoms up, not tops down. So, and this is where, PathGather, our tool, really helped us to start this effort. We want associates creating the content. We want them sharing and engaging and endorsing, but really being kind of the drivers in the driver's seat for our learning development agenda. We also wanted to kind of shift out all the content, right? Really refresh and kind of move away some of the outdated content, move in modern, fresh, bite-sized content, kind of bring in more collaborative learning experiences, but really also make it simple and intuitive and personalized for them to kind of find the right learning at the right time. So that's how we're going to bring this to life and really democratize learning at Capital One, and really go from the bottoms up as everyone is a learner, everyone's a teacher, and everyone's a leader, versus kind of the tops down approach that we've been taking previously. So let me talk to you about one of our big bets in our transformations that we did last year, and we're on the same path now, is our Learning Hive. So this is our kind of internally branded PathGather tool that we created right when the kind of the energy around this tech transformation was coming about. And we've had a great partnership, obviously, with PathGather, and excited for our partnership with Degree coming up. But what we decided to do was we had two main goals with our Learning Hive when we launched this. We wanted to not only simplify the learning experience, make it personalized, make it intuitive, have one front door. Everyone's talked about that here. Our landscape was fragmented. And two, we wanted a tech platform that really enabled that bottoms-up kind of learning, where everyone's growing and sharing and contributing to this learning agenda, and they're the tentacles of our L&D team, not just our team that's kind of driving the learning. So those were our two main goals with kind of the expansion and kind of the launch of Hive. First, though, in addition to that, like in parallel, we're building the team. We're re-architecting and kind of redesigning what L&D looks like at Capital One. And because tech was our main focus, or technical transformation, we created an organization called Tech College, and modeled this structure really with the tech organization at the helm. So our accountable executive is our CIO. He sponsors it, he endorses it, he funds it, and he basically said, we're going all in. We're going to really focus on this tech transformation because this is imperative to how we're going to just drive our agenda. And then we took one of our head chief architects and learning professionals, and we kind of brought them together. So we had a learning expertise and professionals, and then we had engineers from the business. And then we started to build out disciplines. So we have 6 core disciplines that we focus on, and we actually brought in one of the lead directors of software engineering, one of the directors of data science, a head of cyber, a head of cloud, a head of machine learning. And those are the absolute experts that we had in-house. They become our deans. And they work side by side with some software engineers as well as learning designers and program managers, and we created kind of this new team that was a blend of tech and L&D. And then equally, we had a lot of great kind of advisory board kind of structure in place to make this really aligned to all of the lines of business. So we made sure that lines of business were all accountable and partnered with each dean for everything we do. So this is kind of what Tech College looked like. And here we go. And together with the Learning Hive and with this new Tech College organization, we really created an awesome product. So not only was Hive at the center of this product, but we organized around all of these disciplines, and you see in green here the 6 disciplines I just mentioned. And we really drove a huge amount of great experiences, content. We created workshops and labs, and you're being taught by subject matter experts. not by vendors, and not even by learning professionals. Obviously, they work hand in hand to create these special moments and these experiences that are really quite magical, but it was just a great experience of two teams coming together and creating kind of a huge, strong movement at Capital One. We also organized around some personas to help us prioritize, but that's really how we structured the team, and then Hive was at the center of that with all the paths and the gatherings that were kind of organized around the paths and the disciplines. So the interesting thing that happened, we launched this last year, is engagement started skyrocketing. So we were marketing it, kind of talking about it in the tech organization with all the tech associates as being kind of our main audience. And all of a sudden, slowly, adoption started increasing from our non-tech audience. So without any formal marketing communications, we've seen this organic growth happen, where now the non-tech audience and associates are overpassing the tech associates. So this was a really surprising learning for us, is that there's hunger and appetite out there from even just the product managers or the designers or the sales folks, like to learn this new language and new strategy that the company has declared is gonna, make us be successful and help us win. So this is just good to show you about have 20,000 users in the platform, over 50% are non-tech. So this engagement started growing, kind of starting last year and earlier this year. So we came to this pivotal inflection point, the team, and we said, we're ready to go enterprise-wide with this, not just tech. And so we're now taking Hive, the Learning Hive, to the company. So all 50,000 people will be able to use this as their front door for learning. And we're going to aggregate in and pull in more content. Where we had focused on internal and external tech content primarily, we're now bringing in all our leadership content, our competency content, trusted vendors like LinkedIn, also like intranet sites and pages from our internal tools, as well as like YouTube, et cetera, and TED Talk. So really aggregating all of this, pulling in from our LMS as well. And this is going to be kind of the new front door for everything at Capital One. And this is rolling out in like 2 weeks. But we never stopped them, right? So like as we were kind of putting this out there, it was always open for anyone to use. Now we're going to actually make it be much more specific to kind of the range of skills that they need to learn, not just the tech skills. So the benefits of kind of leveraging this kind of one front door approach is not only the features that this PathGather tool provides, is great browse, great customization, clear personalized recommendations, but the content is really great. So we've been working with the PathGather team to figure out how we can customize the right, enterprise endorsed content, or focus on, let's say, design thinking, and our focus on leadership, to have that at the front. But then we have some kind of horizontal rows that are LOB specific for our lines of business. So if I'm in commercial, or if I'm in credit card or an FS, I can go quickly down into those paths and see what's relevant to me, but I can also take advantage of the tech skills and the leadership skills. So we don't want to block anyone just because I'm not in tech. I still want to be able to learn Python on the side, right? So we're making it kind of universally open and accessible for everyone. From my Google days. So change in comms. So like I said before, we did no formal comms with Hive before, but now, when we go from 20,000 to 50,000, we have to really consider and think about our change strategy. So we have trained Hive ambassadors, we're engaging the HRC community, we're working with leaders to start posting on a regular basis, and just driving that support. In parallel, we're also talking to them about what does a culture of learning really mean, and making sure that people are carving off more than 24 minutes a week to learn. So we're reinforcing kind of the behaviors and some of the systemic changes we want to see in the culture with some of these conversations with Hive going to the front door. So I wanted to talk about one more related kind of transformational journey that we're on, which is what we call P2P, our peer-to-peer kind of learning community. So we're augmenting our team that I described with the power of the associates. And so this had been happening for years and years at Capital One, where we had credit officers that would create our credit content and teach that to anyone who's going through the credit track. We have that in engineer. We have hundreds of engineers that give back on certain skills, and so they make up our adjunct faculty. But we're going to really take kind of a deeper look at this and wrap our arms around the whole peer-to-peer community. How do we engage them? How do we recruit them? How do we reward them and recognize them? And how do we support them? Because not only for them to give back to the company, they're developing skills. They're developing facilitation skills, coaching and mentoring skills. And so we're really kind of going all in on this peer-to-peer learning culture. And you can see kind of that will scale and then make it just more, not only the contents can be relevant and contextual with examples and stories for Capital One, but it's also going to save us costs because we're not going to be relying so much on vendors. And then, we also had to think, not everyone can be a great teacher. Not everyone has, the skills or the desire to sit in a class or a workshop and facilitate. So we created different roles in which people can participate in kind of this peer-to-peer strategy. So they can teach or facilitate, they can review content, they can build virtual classes or ILTs, design or curate the experiences, or serve as mentors and coaches. And we're also building, with all our engineers, we're building an internal, homegrown application to help us manage this peer-to-peer community and track people with the skills and then track them with opportunities that we have available across the learning kind of a community and agenda, so we can kind of plug in. We need someone for this type of role, and we know who to go to and how to connect people. So this internal application will really help us scale this effort. So those were just two kind of deep dives on the Learning Hive and our peer-to-peer culture that are just really fundamental to the transformational journey we're on. We have a lot more in store. We're doing a lot of work with reinventing our open enrollment classroom kind of process. We brought in LinkedIn Learning, which is a new vendor for us. And we're refreshing and kind of completely kind of starting from scratch and rebuilding content for leadership, competency, going all in-house for those assets, as well as data transformation. So a lot is on the roadmap and the agenda. So as I kind of wrap this up and close this, one thing that was most apparent to the team and myself was the culture, right? How are we driving this learning culture that is long-lasting, that really impacts behavior change, that really drives habits, that people are going to really continually learning and growing, not just for the sake of what they need to do tomorrow, but really just for kind of their whole selves. And so that starts with the people, that starts with the team. And so that's where we're starting, along with all of these other efforts along the way. So that's how Capital One's taking learning to the next level. And that's all I have.